Welcome to the Princess and the Bee podcast, the place to be to build your empire as queen of your body, business, and life. I'm your host, Kimberly Spencer, founder of crownyourself.com, and I'm an award-winning coach, Amazon best-selling author, and multi-passionate entrepreneur. Each week, I give you the systems, strategies, and success stories to help you master your mindset, communicate with ease, and triple your productivity so you make the income and the impact you deserve. Imagine this podcast as your weekly spark of inspiration as you take it to the next level with all the bees of your life. Body, business, bank account, boys, and babies. Let's make it rain. Hello, and welcome back to the Princess and the Bee. I am so excited to have you here because I have one of the most phenomenal women. She is so multi-talented. She is almost like she is two different people. I have the amazing Cat LaCohie. She is also known as Vixen DeVille, and by her stage name, she is an accomplished, multi-talented, international variety burlesque performer and live event host. She specializes in fire eating, glass walking. Yes, she even got me to do it. Aerial hoop and magic. In addition to multiple appearances on TV's Masters of Illusion, her stage show Vixen DeVille Revealed was awarded winner of the Best International Show, winner of the Soaring Solo Artist, and the winner of the Encore Producers Award, and nominated as Best Cabaret and Variety Show. Holy smokes. And yes, it was that phenomenal. It is that phenomenal. She's bringing it back to LA. Oh my goodness. In addition to performing for audiences, Vixen also teaches her craft both privately, one-on-one, and in supportive group workshop environments. I have been lucky enough to do body confidence workshops with this woman. She is a one-stop shop for anyone interested in the world of burlesque, with classes ranging from introduction to burlesque and body confidence to full solo act development. So if you're looking to take your show on the road, this is the girl to help you. As well as supplementary classes covering costume crafting and a range of specialty performance skills, including fire performance. She can teach you how to eat fire, aerial, and more. Oh my goodness, Cat or Vixen? I mean, I can know you as Cat, but welcome to the show.
It's so funny hearing all this stuff. Like, that's me. Okay, yeah. I have a thing in the show where I have a picture behind me, and it's like I talk about how you can so disconnect from, that's me. I look at that picture like I want to be her. And I'm like, but it is me, and it still takes a while for me to kind of go, yes, I do all these things, and yes, it's a good thing, and yes, I'm not arrogant for admitting that and claiming that and saying it.
I love that you said that, because you are not the only guest I've ever had on who is like, you never really know yourself and your like place of owning all that you've accomplished in this world until you hear your biography read back to you.
Yeah. And just to be like more arrogant.
Well,
the show just won. It won Best Out of Town in Tucson Fringe, and of course, my mom was like, "Was it the only out of town show?" And then
thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. And then the Valley Theatre Awards nominated it. It won Best One Person Performance from its run at the Whitefire Theatre from part of the Solo Fest. So it's just like. I'm like, oh, okay. And even now when I'm re-rehearsing it and rewriting it, I'm like, is it good? Is this terrible? Is this a really like? I'm like, Cat, come on, like.
I love that, because I mean, first of all, I have to honor your vulnerability of like speaking about the creative process, because we all have those doubts, no matter how successful, no matter how many awards you've won, like we all still go through those doubts as in the creative journey. So can you tell me about the creative journey for what inspired Vixen DeVille Revealed? Because I have to say, I mean, for anyone go in LA, go see the show, because it made me bawl like a freaking baby. And it was such a powerful, beautiful show. Well done. And it wasn't just because you made me walk on glass.
Yeah.
I wasn't crying because of that.
I think people have said to me, I mean, I would say it's been like almost a 4-year creation of the show and letting it marinate and that whole thing about, I don't remember which sculpturer it was, but there's this famous marble sculpture and he sits looking at this marble block every day. And the guy who hired him to make the sculpture is like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm working. And he goes, what are you doing? I'm working. And every day he just sits there looking at it. And then one day just does it. And it's because it takes that sort of sitting and thinking and planning and before you actually do something. And so I've had people go, oh, you do all these things and you host your show and you do it. Why haven't you done a solo show yet? Or why haven't you got your own show yet? And I guess the answer was at the time that I didn't want to just do another variety show. Like, what is the point? You know, and I say this with magic illusions, like anyone can do a magic illusion you can buy off the internet, but it's the banter and patter and way that you present it that makes it amazing. And so I hit upon this idea like maybe 2.5 years ago that I wanted it to be more about if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that the room of the theater would be like the space that you enter. And that once you enter that space, like I'm taking on this journey of where anything is possible. And to really explore, like maybe I would show that you can walk on broken glass, and then I'd hire some acrobats to like do handstands on broken glass or something. Like if it would be like a you can do this, but this is how far you can take it sort of show. And at the time it was still like, oh, I'll do a variety show with other performers in it. And then it just got to the point where I was like, I've done that so many times in my life. Like when I was producing theatre, it was always ensemble theatre, and it was the group of the theatre, and it was never. I had a careers advisor who's like, why do you feel like you need the group around you? Because it's almost like you're not putting yourself forefront because that's scary. So It's safe to do. I'm going to do a group show. I'm going to maybe host it, but have other people. But doing a solo show is like, fuck, that's putting yourself out there, you know? And it does come from being in a show and audience coming up and going, oh my God, you're so great, and you're so brave, and you're so funny, and you're so this. And it's like, I wasn't born like that. Like, I was not funny and happy and confident at school. So if I can do this, you can too. And I hate the idea that I sat in an audience watching a burlesque show thinking, I want to do this, but I know that I can never do that. And if people are coming up to me and going, I want what you've got on stage, I want to be like you, well, you can. And so this show is very much going, I'm nothing, like, I'm special. I want to acknowledge that I'm special, but I'm nothing special. Everybody is fucking special.
I think that's the beautiful paradox of life. Like we all are special. We all come to this world with amazing gifts and unique talents. And at the same time, because it's humanly possible for one, it means it's possible for anyone.
And it's untapping it. It's going, yeah, okay, you might not feel it right now, but it's there living inside you. And someone once said to me about moving to LA, like, how have you changed? And it's not that I changed. I've said this before in an interview that like it's taking a plant out of like, you know, a cold, dark, none, you know, new nutrients, whatever, and it's shriveling, it's whatever. You put that out in the sun and you feed it and you water it, and it becomes this beautiful plant. It always had the potential of being that plant, but it wasn't quite there yet. And I think that's the thing. You have to give yourself the permission to be all these things and do all these things. And you have to be in the right environment, and you have to, untap it. You have to tap into what's going on there and let it out, really.
So was it coming to LA that really brought you out of a more introverted shell? Or what was the journey to you being the confident woman that can show up and strip on stage? Like, I mean, that takes guts.
I think it's definitely a journey that started in London, and I was exposed to it all I was exposed to it all in London, and I was working on it in London. You'll see in the show I sort of talk about my gradual entrance into burlesque and how it was kind of like, oh, maybe I'll show a bit of this and show a bit of this, and I was never like pressure, like you have to go into pasties. Definitely coming to LA made me take more risks, because it was like I was on a 3-year visa and I could only do acting and performance on my visa. So it was like, fuck it, I got 3 years. I need to hustle. Like I need to I'm going to apply for that job I'm probably not hugely qualified for. And yeah, I'm going to do, oh, there's a show happening in I don't know, whatever. Oh yeah, I'll do, like I think in London, it was like, I wasn't taking risks as much because I could lose it. Like not that I had a reputation, but what I built up already could have been lost. When I came here, I had no reputation. No one knew who I was. I had to just go out there and prove myself and be like, yeah, I'll sign up for all the shows. I'll audition for all the different things. And something might be amazing and well paid, or something might be tiny in a back alley room. But then someone sees you in the back alley room and goes, oh, I've got this other gig over here. And it's like, oh, okay, great. And even you don't think you can do something. People will come up to me and want to hire me for certain things. I'm like, I don't really do that, but yeah, let's give it a go, you know? And I think that made me more ballsy, is just the fact that I put myself in an environment where I'm in the shit because no one knows me. No, I don't have the reputation. I don't know anybody else. And you just have to go, right, I'm going to do this thing, you know?
And so you do whatever it takes until it takes. And obviously it took because of the success that you've had so far. So what, and for those of you who noticed that my voice is a little lower, I am getting over laryngitis, but I could not have Cat on the podcast because her show is coming to LA this weekend, and we are so blessed to have her. So what inspired the journey of the revelation, in essence, of the show, and why did you choose to start it where you did?
So you mean the progression of the show? It was very much like the opening of the show is, this is Vixen. Let's put her on a pedestal and make her superhuman and untouchable and unreachable and something we all aspire to be. And the show is gradually going, and it's peeling back the layers. Oh, like a burlesque act, to go, actually, this is who she really is underneath. And everything else was just, it's putting her right on the pedestal. So anyone who doesn't know who I am or see me perform can go, oh, Vixen, she's special. And I come on stage and be like, nah, like this is it. I'm just a human being. Like, let's do it. And I go, oh, the fire that you just saw me do? Yeah, I'm going to teach you how to eat fire. Oh, the glass walking I just did? I'm going to teach you how to glass walk. I'm not special. I just went out and did it and let myself do it. And then, and then it goes into sort of like the, oh yeah, well, anything's possible. And then for the naysayers who go, well, what about when you have a setback or you get injured or your house burns down? So I then include a setback that I had, and how, yeah, it's crazy and it is a setback. But how that then shaped my life, because that setback then took me from this direction to this direction, and how it's a very cliched quote, but it's not what happens to you, it's your reaction to those events that
Amen. Amen. I think what really got me, and what always gets me, is when people pull out that visceral, not today ego, like not today limiting beliefs, and they tap into that source, that higher power, that whatever you want to call it, and they live into it like you did in the show and like you did to overcome the setbacks that you experienced. So can you talk about how you deal now with other people putting their own limitations on you?
I found myself becoming very, not bitchy, but just, you know, when you do an improvisation, have you done Groundlings or UCB?
Yeah. Yep.
They're just like, if someone puts a quality on you, you just take it and run with it, because the more you run with it, the funnier it is. So if you go to your character, oh God, Dad, you're such an alcoholic. They go, yeah, I am. Going to drink another beer. Hey, there it is. I found myself, like, if I'm creating some costume and the room is a mess and someone comes in and says, oh my God, you're so messy. I go, yeah, I am messy. It's going to be like this for a couple of days. Like, yes, exactly. Yes, it is messy. Yes, I am a messy person. And so I feel like when people are very much like, I mean, it's not really limiting belief. It's more of a put down. Yes, actually, I had somebody say to me, I couldn't get my show taped because, like, who are you? You're not this famous name, or and of course it got to me, and of course it made me go, oh shit, this one person doesn't. But I also thought, do I even like this person? Do I even respect their choices? they just created this project that I was like, oh, really? That's, and so why am I taking advice from someone who I don't even respect right now, or I don't even with their, so, and that's all. I bet you anytime you get a limiting belief comment or a judgment from somebody, just decide whether you even like that person. Because why are you taking the naysaying comments from the person that you don't even like or respect? So I then went to somebody else who I thought, actually, I knew someone else who works in that field, and I pitched them the idea, and they're like, yeah, absolutely, and now we're going to be taping the show. So it's like, I could have easily gone, oh, he's in a position of power, and he knows better than me, and okay, moo. But I was like, no, I want to get it taped. It's got awards and stuff in this little small fish pond, so why can't I go to a bigger fish pond? And it's just saying this has to happen. When something happens to you, when your car breaks down or your baby's sick or whatever, you have to get that baby to the doctors. You have to get that car fixed. You don't go, oh, maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. So I was like, no, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this show for, physically and mentally and emotionally. I don't know how long I'll be able to do it for. I need to get this taped. I need to have it so that people can watch it without me doing it. I need to get it done this month. I need to get it done by September. So, you have to kind of put a limit on yourself and go, I don't care what you say, because I need to get this done.
I love that, because there's such an aspect of resiliency of and being unapologetic about what you want, about truly aligning and saying, this is what I want. This is what I'm going for. I'm going to show, it's not, I'm going to show you, but it's like, I'm going to do it this way and the way that I want to. And that's something that I so have always respected about you, Cat, so much.
Oh, thank you. It is difficult. I mean, it's just, even I was taking posters down to flyers to businesses down the street from outside the theater. And I'm like, why is it terrifying for me to go into a space and go, hey, can I leave some flyers? It's like, why is that so? Because I just hate being the annoying person. Hi, I'm producing the show. Can I? But some of them are like, oh, this is exciting. Yeah, I'll totally come and see it. But still, like, it's a practice. It's like, like yoga practice, not yoga perfect. It's like every day I'm practicing this skill of being able to just go out and do the things. And I have an acting coach. She's like, it's not that it gets easier, you just get braver. Every time I have to talk myself up a ledge and go, Cat, you're just going to do this today. It's just, you're just going to have to do it. Do it.
I love that quote that your acting coach said, because that's so true. I mean, even because you and I have both a very similar background, and I was so shy. I didn't speak in kindergarten for 6 months. Like, my teacher thought I should be put in special classes because I just didn't speak. I was so painfully shy. And obviously, I've overcome that a bit with bravery. But at the same time, I tell my clients, I still, when reaching out to speaking gigs or just DMing new people on Instagram, I still have that momentary gut feeling of like, oh, this is a little scary. And it seems so silly now, but it's doing those daily acts of courage are what really build that muscle. And it's a compound effect.
And you have to really withdraw yourself from it, because you're going to get responses yes and no. All the time you're going to get responses. And when I was getting my green card, I had to get recommendations from people I've worked with. And I feel terrible for bashing into someone's day and going, hey, can you write me a glowing recommendation about how amazing I am as a person, like maybe 2 pages long? And can you sit down and do that for 2 hours of your life and for no reward at all? And I sent these all out to people because I had to. I had a date. Like, I was going to be kicked out of the country. So it was quite high stakes. And some people were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I am so honored that you think of me for this. I would be absolutely honored to write this for you. And some people were like, oh my God, Kat, who do you think you are? Like, how much audacity do you have that you think I would write this letter? Like, seriously, like, offended that I'd asked them to write the letter. And I had to just be like, well, I need 10, so I'm just going to have to ask another 5 people. And it was just crazy, the difference in it. And like on my Instagram, whenever anybody sort of like takes interest in my classes, I'll reach out and go, hey, are you just in classes? And some people are like, oh my gosh, thank you. I was just thinking that. Oh my, yeah, let's talk about that. And some people are like, oh my God, no, how dare you? And I take such I'm really hurt by the people who responded and brought you right. Like, just say, oh no, it's fine. I was just browsing at your Instagram. Just say that. Don't be like, how dare you? Like, real offended that I'm trying to throw this in their lives. And I have to just be like, if I was working for someone else, if my job was cold calling or flyering for someone, I've done a bunch of that, in my modeling days, you're not emotionally attached to whether the person says yes or not. You're just doing your job. Mm-hmm. And really, you have to just kind of separate yourself from the in the moment rejection to the big grand scheme of, I want to achieve these 5 yeses or whatever it is.
I think that is such a poignant point. And it's a question that I commonly ask my clients who are starting up their businesses of, if you were an employee of your company, would you fire yourself? Because a lot of times when you're just starting out in your business, sometimes, and if you have the safety of having another job that's providing that income, it's not really a necessity that your business succeeds. And so what I found is that they don't put themselves out as much with as much audacity because of that feeling of attachment to the yes or the no, when really the yes or the no it's just a projection of that other person's stuff, whether they say yes or no or get all up, get their panties up in a bundle. But I love the fact that you brought that to, you brought up that point that, if you don't have that attachment to the job, then it's just a job, and like a no is like a no, okay, next. But when you have that personal connection as an entrepreneur, and it's like your creative thing,
saying no to you as a person, it's not
you end up taking it personally, and yet that's not the case. It's just you kind of have to put on that identity that this is also just part of the job.
I was selling. I took a film to the AFM, a couple of years ago, and it was so much easier to pitch a film that I hadn't written. I wasn't directing. I was going to be in it, but like a smaller role, and it was great because then when they said, "Oh, I'm like, yeah, totally, gotcha," and moved on to the next one. So I was like, "Well, I've got to see 20 people today," and it was like, and the guy who wrote it was on the phone, like, "What'd they say? What's this? Well, why didn't I like it?" I'm like, just leave me alone. I will get this to the right people. And it was so much more refreshing to be trying to pitch and sell a project that wasn't my heart and soul. And yeah, because they are sort of saying no to you. But it's the same thing. It's like with any coaching thing, you pitching your product is almost like a comment on that person by saying you're flawed in some way and you need my services.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very difficult to second guess. If you're selling skin cream, you don't want to go up and say, "Hey, do you want my skin cream?" Because you're going, "Well, you're saying that I look old and wrinkly." So "Hi, would you like some life coaching? What are you saying? Am I flawed?"
Yep.
So it's difficult to sort of reach out in those realms. "Hey, do you need body confidence?" Like what?
Yeah.
And when you second guess who you approach, you lose the people who need your services. Because I could second guess that some people don't want to do this, or that they're confident enough already, or they're already doing burlesque. But then people approach me and be like, "Oh, I'm actually thinking about taking your classes because I want to improve what I'm doing," or actually, I've only ever been singing and I want to now work into the burlesque world. And I would never have thought that I would have thought if I'd offered my services, they'd be like, "Screw you, I already do that. Like, whatever, who do you think I am?" So you have to, when the no's come to you, go, "Well, how dare you? I'm so offended you offered it to me." It's like, well, you know what? I don't know. I feel messaging me and going, "No, I don't want burlesque classes. I'm a man. I'm a guy." I'm like, "There's burlesque." And I have some guys like, "Oh my God, yes, I didn't know if I could do that, but I was really wanting to ask, but didn't know if I could." So for all the men who are offended that I offer them burlesque classes, it's worth it to be able to reach that one who wanted to do it and didn't know that they could.
Mm-hmm. And I think that brings up such an important point of selling, of as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. My personal perception on selling is that it's of service, because when you can be of service to that one person, then accidentally and unintentionally bruising somebody else's ego that they're dealing with and their own perceptions that they have their own stuff as we all do. But when you can reach that one person, the shift that you can make in that person's life, whether you're selling skin cream or coaching or foot baths or, burlesque classes or whatever. But when you can change that person's life, that's actually where selling shifts into being of service and of massive service, because the value of transformation is priceless.
And that's the thing is, so many businessy marketing people are like, oh, well, I want to go into business. What should I do? It's like, I never went, I need a way to make money. I'm going to sell burlesque courses. If I want to make money, I'd have become a lawyer or whatever. You know what I mean? I wasn't stupid as a kid. So I don't do my burlesque classes to make money. I'm doing them because when I see someone who is so lit up by the idea of it, but the fear that they're never going to do it, and I take them into that intro class and they're like, this is fun. I feel amazing. What is this? One person in my class was literally in the middle of it went, oh my God, I'm having fun. And I'm like, I know, exactly. Isn't it great? And I want to have more of that feeling for that person. I am excited, and I get off on that fact of passing that on to someone going, I know, fly, be free. And I don't have kids, and I consider that those students are my children. When they go up and perform, I'm like my little baby's all grown up. And I just, if I was given $1 billion and go off and retire, I'd be like, oh, I miss my children.
Yeah. I'd be bored.
What?
I'd be bored.
No, right?
If I was told, like, I will pay you, but don't be of service to other people. Don't do the work. Don't provide the creative outlets. I'd be like, oh, no, thank you. Like, no.
Sit on a beach and drink pina coladas and don't do anything all day. I'm like, no, that's just not exciting at all.
I know. I'd be bored after a day. So what is it about burlesque that brings out that confidence? How did you find that burlesque really taps in on a different level than just like learning how to eat well? Because sometimes that change can happen on that physical level from treating your body better. But what added thing does burlesque add to it?
I think because you're fully putting everything that is you out there, and it's not as an actor, as a model, you're very much doing other people's work. You're doing the someone else. I mean, you're bringing yourself to the script and all that stuff, but essentially it's someone else's script, someone else is editing it, someone else is directing it. As a model, you're in someone else's photo shoot. It's been styled by somebody else, and you're basically just this like prop. You're a moving prop. For burlesque, and people come and say, "Oh, can you give me the choreography?" I'm like, "No, we create this together." Like, you are picking your music, you are picking the costume that you want to wear, you're picking the concept that you want to have. Are you ravagely turning into a werewolf, or are you gliding down a stairway looking like Marilyn Monroe? How do you want to, start the question, how do you want to feel on stage? Do you want to feel vengeful? Do you want to feel powerful? Do you want to feel cutesy? Do you want to feel like everything's just not a problem and just you can make a big mess or something? So how do you want to feel on stage? So it's fulfilling that area that you don't have in your current life. You don't feel like you're powerful. You don't feel like you can make a mess. You don't feel like you can just be cutesy and fun because you're constantly trying to be in control of things. It gives you that arena to experience that feeling that you don't have, that outlet that you don't have. Picking clothes that you don't get to wear every day. So if you do have a baby and you need to be thrown up on all day, that make you very expensive. Or if you're kind of in a business suit every day and you feel quite restricted, that's what's something flowy and floaty. If you're very conservative, let's put you in, I don't know, some fetish gothic stuff, like whatever it is that you don't get to do in your day-to-day life because of society and your job and the thought that you have for your everyday. And then, so you're going out on stage and you're not just going, here I am, and also the strip, here I am, but you're going, this is all my opinions and my taste in music and my sense of humor and what I think is true and my opinion. There's a beautiful act, though, Lola Laminx does, where she's and she have a Trump pinata. You can go on stage and have a political view about something and have a voice. And so that's why I feel like it's so healing in that, and so freeing and so fun, because once you come off stage, it's like, oh, that was my act. Like, I can now go back to the safe version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3-4 minutes, you unleash hell. You know, you're opening the Pandora's box that is you, and allowing the audience to witness that for a second. But then after the act is contained with that, you can go back to your non-superhero version of yourself.
Or you go back as an enhanced superhero version, taking that piece that you left on stage and just taking a bit of her with you.
Yeah. It's like when you warm up your voice to sing and you do all these vocal warm-ups, and then you're left with a freer, more open voice. Same way, like you're going, boom, here I am on stage, da, 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 and then you walk off stage and you're a little bit more open, a little bit more free, a little bit more willing to say the thing. And that, I think, for me, hosting specifically, on stage with a microphone, you can say anything. And I would say something like in the stream of Vixen and go, oh my God, did I just say that? But then people would laugh. Oh my God, I am allowed to say this. Wow. So now when I would go to like a party or an interview or whatever, I'd have the instinct to say a thing that maybe was a bit funny or maybe a bit out of sort. And I'd just be like, well, I'll say it. And then if the person across the table laughs, great, we're on the same wavelength. If the person across the table doesn't laugh, okay, maybe I don't want to work here. And being more honest about who you are and what you like and opinions that you have means that you're going to find the right people. You're not pretending, and then finding the right person who likes the pretendy version of yourself.
Pretendy, as I call the representative of who you actually are.
Like if you go, oh, everyone in the room is a vegan, I'm going to have to be a vegan too. And then you meet a guy and you really like them and you hang out. Well, now you're going to have to pretend to be a vegan for the rest of your life. That is miserable. Pretending to be a person that you're not the veganism, just, other way around. Oh, everyone here is a meat eater. I can't admit that I'm a vegan because they'll all think I'm one of these crazy healthy people. So then you have to pretend to eat meat. That would be miserable. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't try it. I was saying the more that you are honest with who you are, you're going to be happier because you never have to put that facade on as much. We're going to have to. I put on a facade when I, go to the courthouse. I don't know when you
Hopefully you're not going to the courthouse that often. But I love that because it's the concept of identity. And it's like, for me, as to why when I created Crown Yourself, it was to embrace the holistic side of you so that you show, and this was something that for my own journey, I was very, very skilled at segmenting parts of my life into different businesses. For my Pilates business, I would show up as the fitness, even though I would wear heels for when I taught, but I would still show up. And for my e-commerce business, I would show up more professional, but I never felt holistic where it all was aligned. Like I could show up in every case. Maybe I'd turn down the nozzle, but there were for certain scenarios out of respect for the other person. But at the same time, it wouldn't be completely curtailing the authenticity. And that's why I created Crown Yourself, to basically unleash how you show up for your life to be in alignment with everything, so that when people see you on the street, that's no different than how you are at home.
And I was saying, I released an article, I think like a year ago, about entitled "Why I Exposed Myself to My Grandma," and basically it was an article about how my aunt and my grandma, we hadn't been talking for quite some time, and my aunt sent me an email saying, "How are you doing?" And I just thought, the reason we've pulled apart is because she's a Methodist minister. I consider she's very conservative. My grandma's she's now at 90, so she's late 80s at the time. And I just thought, if I start explaining what I do for a living and why I do it, it's just going to open a whole bunch of conversations I don't want to have. So we sort of, drifted apart. And I thought, well, the same as selling. Maybe I should try being honest with her and saying what I do, because all she can do is say, "Ooh, that's a bit," and shun me away. And I've not lost anything because we'd already disconnected anyway. So I had done a podcast about a huge amount of honesty to come out in this podcast. And I said, well, actually, I've just done this podcast. Do you want to listen to it? And I was like, I can't censor it now. Like, she's just gonna have to listen to that podcast and she's gonna hear all the things. So she sent me this email going, oh my God, Kat, that was amazing. I had no idea you felt like this about this. And the thing you said about this was so beautiful. And I saw this article about people painting their stretch marks, like, so that was, this is really great. And then she's like, I feel like you with your teaching is like me in the ministry with my people when I do my sermon. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I did not expect. And there was, the next time I went to visit her, I thought, this is the first time I've been an adult by myself in her presence. So I've been a child in her presence where you have to be, behave yourself and all the rest of it. And I've been an adult around a dinner table where, you have to be politely. But I thought, if she wants to spend time with me, I can't give her the less than me. And so we've had some amazing, honest conversations, and I just feel so much closer to her now. And I did not think that would happen. I mean, we're doing late 20s, early 30s, and I hadn't really spoken to her since I was 21. So 8-9 years of not really talking and being my honest self, fixed it.
I think that speaks to the value of candor. And I think a lot of times we think of candor as what we say, but candor goes deeper than that. It also goes into what we don't say, what we withhold, the parts of our life that we keep for the stage rather than allowing them to fully be expressed. So in your coaching, in the work that you do, in the workshops, when you're working with someone and you see them withholding, how do you coach someone around how to unveil that piece that they're holding back?
I very much try to be aware of if I've thrown something at somebody or if they've brought it to the table. So they'll bring in a piece of music and I might go, oh, wow, this piece of music, it makes me think of a butterfly and you're flying and maybe you should use some isis wings and I'll go off on one. And I've tried to stop doing that. I'll say, okay, I'll start with what images are coming to you. Where do you think this is lying? And they'll say, I mean, it's very difficult. Some students are like, oh my God, I see a meadow and I see I don't know, a small fairy landing in the meadow and whatever. And some people are just like, I'm not sure, I'm just not very visual. So I'll have to be like, okay, this is what I see. And I'm not saying you have to do this, but for example, my brain is going that you're the caterpillar and then whatever, and then you become the butterfly. And they'll go, okay. It's like, no, not okay. You need to be excited by this idea because if it doesn't excite you, you'll be miserable on stage. And some people think just because I gave them the idea that that's the right idea. And it's not what's the right idea. What fires you up? So I then go, okay, well, other things you could do, because it's not just the butterfly. Other things you could do is you're this snarly monster and you come on stage like a snarly monster and you're you're stealing candy from people because you want your candy back. You don't have to be pretty and butterfly-esque. And then it's very much seeing the light that goes, oh, can you do that? I thought it was a burlesque act. I thought you had to be rhinestone-y and fluffy. No, you could be the snarly monster, So it's really giving a shit about them being happy and not me going, oh, this will look pretty as a student debut. I'll make them do this. And if it takes a lot longer and a lot more exploration, I'd rather them take 8, 10, 12 weeks to get it done than to bash it out in 5 or 6 weeks, because see people come into class with some pieces of costume and they're a bit like, oh, well, I'm doing this because maybe I suggested it. So really letting them know that their ideas in the room are okay is half of the battle. And when people go, crazy idea, but I'm like, there are no crazy ideas. There are no crazy ideas. The last act was in an elephant outfit. There are no crazy ideas. I'm working.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it was my favorite thing. I've had more messing around, talking about what was missing in your life. When I started, it was very powerful acts. And then I was like, I just want to be expensive and glittery. And then it was like, I'm spending too much time being expensive and glittery and looking good for auditions and stuff. So I just started doing a lot of angry, pouring fake blood on myself, being a werewolf. And now it's just like, I want to have fun. I don't want to laugh at this. I don't need to be, hey, I'm sexy, woohoo, because I had a bunch of those acts. Now I'm like, I'm an elephant, woohoo, and it's just so much fun. I'm just messing around on stage. It's great, and seeing what I can get away with. I'm doing this pig act coming up that I think. And I don't know if it's going to be funny or offensive or really wrong. And I'm sort of just like, I'm just going to do it as an experiment. Let's see what the response is. And to me, that's fun because it's like a mischievous risk. It's like, what can I get away with? I'm going to try this idea out. And if the audience walk out because it's offensive, I'll probably have won. Like, yes, you know. And that's what I want to see in the student is that, oh yeah, no, I could do that. Oh, and now when I go and buy those boots, oh, and I get to wear a crown. Oh, you know, and that's, yeah, seeing that come out of them.
So this idea of experimentation, of allowing for that play, I would guess, does some of that come from like having failures or major F-ups or mistakes or messes in the past that you just now have stepped into a place of ownership with? And if so, and even if not so, what would you say is also your absolute favorite failure?
I guess the failure has to be the setback I talk about in the show, because that was such a huge, I built, I had this job for Masters of Illusion, and I was almost going to say no and almost going to back out of it. I didn't feel like I had enough time. I didn't feel like I was prepared. And I decided to take the leap and go, no, I'm going to make this, like I said, I'm going to make it my priority. I'm going to make it high stakes. I'm going to agree to doing it, and I'm going to do it properly. And I funneled a bunch of money into that. And I spent like 2 or 3 weeks solely creating that act and solely working on that act and doing everything like properly and whatever. And then on the day had an injury, and the whole thing just fell from, oh, I'm going to do all these amazing things. Oh my gosh. To, oh my God, I'm injured and I can't do anything. I'm now going to be stuck in a cast. So in terms of, rather than me just going, oh, I went and did a normal gig that I normally do every week and I got injured. This was like, oh my God, I'm doing a television shooting thingy and taking risks with this new magical act and then but so the failure was massive, but also the reason it was my greatest failure is that it was like, wow, I've now, my entire identity as performer creator has changed because I'm now not performing or creating, and I couldn't do my modeling anymore because I was like inactive and putting weight on. And so it was like, oh, what makes me happy? I need to find something else that makes me happy. And so I then funneled everything into expanding all the teaching that I was doing. And it takes something like that, I think, to really make you look at what is it that you're doing with your life, and are you choosing to do that? And is something else making you do that? And you know, what else would you be doing? You find yourself in this rut of, oh, I don't know what I do. I get up and do this thing every day, and I always check Facebook, or I always walk down to the bottom of the road and buy a can of soda, or I always meet my friend at 7:00 on a Tuesday night. Is that because it's habit? Is that because you actually enjoy that person's company? Is it because you actually want to drink that item? Whatever it is, you find yourself in this rut. And I had found that I wasn't desperately excited to become a magician on Masters of Illusion. I was just like, well, I'm a performer. I've been offered a TV slot. Why would I not take this? This makes sense. But it wasn't in the realm that I wanted to be presented in. So I was going to be a mediocre magician. I would be an excellent performer. But if that had aired, I think that maybe that would have done me bad, because there'd been all these comments like, oh, she's not really a magician. Well, no, I'm not. And people have said, oh, we need a female magician for this gig. It's going to be thousands of dollars. Can you learn something really quickly for it? And I'm like, no, because that dangled carrot of money, it's not like we were saying about, oh, here's billions of money, but you have to stop teaching. No, because I'm going to be miserable creating this act, and I'm going to be bad at it, and it's going to frustrate me. And then I'm going to stress out about it, and I'll do the job, and I'll get paid, and I'll think I did a crap job, and maybe the employers, I didn't fulfill what they wanted. So you have to really look, why would I have been doing that? Because of the money. And I wrote this article as well about having three reasons to do something. Because if there are two backup reasons fall apart, then, what if they said, oh, actually, we can't pay you? I'd been like, what? No, all that wasted effort. So I think you need to have, this makes me happy, or because this will get me further in my career, or this will give me some time out, or this will give me some money, or whatever else it is. Like, have your reasons for doing stuff. And so, yeah, that failure stopped me and went, can you just revalue everything that you're doing in your life and why you're doing it? And now you've got a moment to sit and figure out what is the next step. I feel like I was in a car crash a couple of years ago, and there's a couple of other things that have been quite horrendous in my life that happened, but they happened at a time when the universe really needed to tell me, like, stop for a second, have a little look at your life, sort your shit out.
I love that, because your quote unquote failure of the injury, it ended up causing creation. And that's kind of that is the cycle that we see in nature. It's like you see a massive fire. I mean, hello, we're in LA. Like, you see a massive fire, and then the next spring, it's more green than it's ever been, because destruction always precedes creativity. As one of my mentors, Joe Polish, said, you have to break something in order to break through. And you literally broke something. Like, you literally broke something, but you had the biggest breakthrough because it allowed you to create this beautiful show that is truly just, I mean, you go there and you watch her and you will learn how to eat fire within the span of 5 minutes. And it's astounding. So let's get into a little bit of rapid fire questions, shall we, Kat?
Yeah, so I'm not good at rapid fire. I talk for so long, it's like you have to...
Oh, that's fine. That's totally fine. So what is your favorite female character in a movie and why?
Oh, I guess it'll have to be Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. It was one of the first films I ever saw. I wanted to be her. I wanted to run around and be pretty in the corsets. But now looking, like, that was when I was like 6 or 7. But looking back, I think she just survived so much, and she's so strong. And yeah, at the beginning, she's just kind of like, oh my God, the men are all around me. But she's able to have that transition to become, like, she turns that power and that strength and that beauty into survival. And she doesn't become weak. She still is that character later on, but she uses it for different purposes. And she has so much thrown at her. And just, even at the end of the day, she's like, tomorrow's another day. And it's just, she's kick-ass as shit.
She's quite something. She's quite a piece of work. I love Scarlett O'Hara. The book is even, like, she has even more thrown at her in the book, if you've ever read the book. Like,
I know that they had the West End show for a hot second, and that was more based on the book. I think she has like some kids or something.
Yeah, she has like 3 other kids in the book.
What? I didn't know this part,
They bring up many, like, in the book, I was like, oh, this is like almost like reading a totally different story, even though it followed the same basic storyline. So again, I'm not good at rapid fire apparently either.
I was like, no, next question.
So if you had to have your success at twice the speed, how would you have done it?
Ooh. Oh, wow. I don't know how to answer that question. I used to say I wish I'd come to LA earlier, but I don't think so. I think I needed to be the me I was at that age to come here and thrive. I think if I'd come here any earlier, I would have still stalled. I think I would have liked to have had more business coaching earlier on, because I had this class and I was teaching and it was trottling on a bit. But I had no idea how, like, I had some knowledge of how to promote it and sell it and get the word out there. But I think if I'd had help earlier on of someone who knew what they were doing, I think once I had the product, getting that out there and getting the word out there and having people know who I was, I think that would have sped it up a little bit longer.
If you were a queen of a country, what would be your prime focus? Since you come from the land of the queen.
I never want to be queen or president of anything. I never want to have that much control. Ever. What would be my primary focus? Gosh. Like Queen of the Universe days.
Exactly. And for those of you who don't know, I met Cat in a pageant, in a beauty pageant that was for charity back in 2014 called the Queen of the Universe. So it's quite apropos.
Which was also one of the things I signed up for. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just do this pageant thing. I think my focus would be on like a group acceptance, like all this, why are we still fighting? Why are we still in a position where we're still fighting for equality amongst races and genders and LGBTQ? And like, why are people still judging other people for their just being who they are? It just makes me fucking crazy. And I just think, just equality for everybody.
Amen.
I don't know, based on, who they are at birth. Like, I can't help I was born this way.
Yep.
And let's make you as equal as everybody else then. Yeah.
So what would you consider to be your kingdom?
Ooh, in what way? Like what the kingdom?
Open-ended.
What is my
open to your interpretation and creativity?
What does it look like? What does it stand for? I don't know. I guess I'm going to give you a visual because I like visuals. My kingdom is this little like pocket world. It's like uncovered and you have to like find it through a little secret doorway. And when you go in, it's like vibrant dreamland where you can be anything. Like as you walk in, you shed your skin at the door and you can then become your own little avatar creature person, wearing anything, looking like anything and having any quality. And then you walk in and it's just time stands still and you just everyone loves each other for how amazing they are.
I love that answer.
And I love and no one's jealous of the other person's thing. They just love that they have it. That's my kingdom.
Awesome. If your palace had a swear jar, how much money would you have to put in it daily?
Oh,
and how much would you charge yourself?
I would have to remortgage 2 houses and sell 2 livers. I would not be queen anymore if I had a swear jar. I would have been dethroned and I'd be peasantry. My favorite thing, and I do it all through the show. So if you're offended by swearing, you're just gonna have to
suck it up or don't go. But then you'd be missing out on massive transformation, which would be sad. So what woman would you want to trade places with just for one day?
Oh. I'm gonna say Sandra Bullock because everyone says that I kind of remind them of her. So I want to be the real thing.
Yeah. So let's put you back on that pageant stage that we met on. And what message would you like to share with the world?
Oh my gosh. Just own everything that you are, the good, the bad, and the wobbly. Just say, yes, I'm amazing because of these reasons. Yes, I have these other things that you consider to be flaws. I'm aware of them because I'm me. You don't need to tell me that I've got a spot on my face. I know. I looked in the mirror this morning. I am so aware of all of my faults and flaws, but I'm amazing anyway, and I'm just going to get on with it.
Oh, amazing. And last but not least, certainly not least, how do you crown yourself?
What do people do? Like a word? I don't know.
Again, open to interpretation. I really like the visual that you painted with the kingdom question. So,
how do I crown myself?
How do you crown yourself, darling?
I feel like I'm on a jet ski. No, what's the thing where you're behind someone's pulling you along? What's one of those?
Sleigh?
Water, but you're not on a jet ski by yourself, but you're
like water skis.
Water ski. I'm on a water ski like this. And I'm just like, there's like wind in my hair like this. And then like a little seagull, 2 seagulls lower the crown onto my head. And I just go, whoa.
This visual is spectacular. So Cat, where can we find you? Where can we see your show? I know you're touring. You're doing some touring dates for your show. So what cities can we find you in and see all the amazingness that is Vixen DeVille Revealed? I highly, highly, highly recommend you go, not just because you have the opportunity to eat fire and walk on glass, but you have the opportunity to be transformed, to see things that you never thought were possible become absolutely possible. So where can we see all this?
So check out vixendeville.com. It should have all the information on there. I'm in LA this Sunday, July 7th. I will be coming back August 3rd, September 8th, and that's at the Whitefire Theatre up in Sherman Oaks. On the 28th of July, I'm going to Carson City, and I'm launching it's like a fundraiser so that I can provide scholarships to people. I've been putting online to people in Poland and Switzerland and England and Australia, so people who cannot actually train with me can train with me. And so we're raising money to provide that training to people who can't afford it. And then I will be in Indianapolis at the Indie Fringe Festival. I don't know what the name of the venue is. I think it's Indie Fringe. Information is on my website. And then I will be going to Chicago, not with the show, but I'll be in a couple of shows doing acts, and I'll be teaching at the Chicago Academy of Burlesque. That's July. I'll be teaching on July 20th.
Oh my goodness. Cat, as always, a pleasure. Thank you so much for putting up with my coughing attacks and totally understanding just the struggles that come with losing your voice. Everyone, I highly, highly recommend you go check out vixendeville.com. See the show, follow her, soak up all the inspiration, because I know this is only just the beginning of what we can expect from the amazing Cat LaCohie, aka Vixen DeVille. Thank you so much for watching, if you're watching this on YouTube, and listening if you're listening to this on the podcast. And as always, remember to own your throne, mind your business, and make it rain.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If what you heard resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and share your breakthroughs and ahas with me by leaving a review on iTunes so I can keep the magic flowing your way. And if you aren't already following us on social media, come experience the extra inspiration and queenly convos on Instagram at Crown Yourself Now, or visit our website at crownyourself.com. I am so excited to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and create a body, business, and life that rules.